The 30th anniversary of Pokemon is officially confirmed with brand new logos and the reveal for Pokemon Day. We've also got more leaks from Generation 10 and much more, so let's dive in. Wishing you and your family a happy new year as we head into 2026 in a big way here on the aDrive channel. So get yourselves ready because Gen 10 is going to be crazy. I'm so excited to be back to Pokemon content, sharing it all with you and having a blast. So show some love, smash that like button, and of course subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And let me know how excited you guys are for Generation 10 in the comments down below. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about, of course, is Pokemon posted this morning from their Japanese account. The Pokemon 30th anniversary, here we go. 30 years since the release of Pokemon Red and Green. On February 27th, 2026, on Friday, Pokemon turns 30. I have a feeling this year is going to be the best one yet. Looking forward to it. Now, we already knew that Pokemon Day was right around the corner in February, and that was the most likely scenario for them to announce and release the Gen 10 titles of the games. We're going to see probably starters, we might see a little bit of a teaser, and they're going to lay out the roadmap of what's to come in 2026. Again, anticipating their biggest year yet. We've got Pokemon Champions on the horizon, we've got Pokopia on the horizon. I'm still thinking there may be a DLC coming for the existing game Legends ZA, and of course, Generation 10. We've got this really cool shot of Pikachu throughout the years. I thought this was quite fun to look at how Pikachu has evolved over the years. This most iconic mascot, one of the most iconic creatures in all of the world that's ever existed. Little Pikachu. He's kind of slimmed out throughout the years. You know, he's a little more, less rotund than he once was. I wish I could say the same, but 26 is my year, I'll tell you that. But either way, very exciting stuff, and you're going to want to be glued to the channel for all of that. Over the last few days, however, a bunch of Generation 10 screenshots have leaked, and we have even more information about Gen 10 from its early access stages. This is some crazy stuff. Before I dive into these image leaks, I want to let you guys know that my game Elestrals has our biggest sale of the year. We're working on our RPG video game, and if you're into collecting or playing trading card games, now is the time to throw down for our amazing TCG. We've got deals across the entire site, including free packs and promos with every order over $50. We've got discounts on everything across the board. We've even got a buy one, get one free on our Daybreak and Frostfall booster boxes. And the reason for that is because there are two cards that have never been found in our game. Much like Pokemon has shinies, we have something called Stellars, and these serialized Stellars have never been found for Cryoscorch and Chronodile. Only 10 copies of these cards exist in the entire world. The other box toppers in the set have been found, but these two have not been. So grab that BOGO deal. Only 65 bucks a box for that for 36 packs. It is an incredible deal. You can use my link in the description below and see if you're the world's first to pull Stellar Cryoscorch or Stellar Chronodile. You don't want to miss out. If that's not your fancy, you've got incredible starter decks. I recommend the Aphrodite Locagon one. It's pretty much a competitive deck right out of the box. Head to shopelestrals.com and use my link in the description below to help me out and check out my game Elestrals. All right, let's talk about these Gen 10 beta screenshot leaks. We've got this crazy one with a Lucario and a bunch of Charizards on it. We've also got this one with kind of a bunch of different characters lined up, Gyarados and Moltres, and looks like Nimble and a bunch of different Pokemon all lined up to kind of look at different sizes. It seems like there's different sizes. You see Test Map on the grounds. This is some from very early stages of stuff. And Soul Silver did a really cool breakdown of some of these different things, so we're going to recap some of that. The first thing is, this is the first look at a potential Gen 10 battle system. PP present, probably turn-based, more like PLA. That's something that we've seen a lot of discussion that it's going to be similar to Legends Arceus, but kind of a hybrid style of battle. There's an umbrella icon by Pikachu's health bar, as well as one above the Charizard. Could this be a symbol to have to do with Gen 10's weather gimmick? Maybe it indicates that these Pokemon are being affected by the gimmick, something to do with rain or battling in water. It's very likely that this umbrella is simply a placeholder item, of course, but since we know that a lot of the leaks are pointing towards the fact that whatever this gimmick is, the Majin gimmick we've been talking about in our previous videos, by the way, check that out. I'll have a link in the description below for yesterday's video, but it seems as though this weather gimmick is something that's going to be very prevalent in this region, and this umbrella icon may be a default placeholder, similar to like a Mega Evolution or a Gigantamax or whatever it may be. We can see them battling in knee-deep water. Interesting immersion with the environment. That's actually really cool, being able to fight in the water, being able to traverse these different terrains. That's one thing I'm very excited about, is the diversity of the biomes. I always love that about Alola, so this idea that we're going to be traveling to different islands has me very exciting. Seems that the spread moves, hitting battling more than one Pokemon at once from ZA could return. or there does seem to be a little cursor selector over one of the Charizards, so maybe we can select through each Charizard quickly. I think the spread moves would be a huge win. I think that was one of the cool things about the battle system in ZA, was like you can sprinkle toxic spikes in the field, or you could do surf and wipe out a bunch of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they look to explore that mechanic a little further in a more hybrid turn-based battle system that's a little bit more aligned with some of the previous Pokemon game. The Charizards and even the other Mons seem to be Scarlet and Violet models. This can change, but I imagine the majority of the models will be the same as Scarlet and Violet with a different art style. One thing I want to push back on that is we have already seen that a handful of models have been updated, so it is very possible that they take the Scarlet and Violet models, they update some of them, maybe not all of them, maybe they do update all of them. There's still, you know, quite a bit of time from the time these leaks existed, like the snapshot of these, to the when the game is anticipated to release at end of year 26. It's possible that they make updates to a lot of the models, which I'm really excited about. I think they've made incredible strides with their models. I do feel like sometimes they feel a little lifeless still, but they've made a lot of progress, so I have to give them props where props are due. The pick with all the other Pokemon suggests that different sized Pokemon could return, and maybe these specific Pokemon like Nimble, Snom, Luxray, Moltres have a good chance to be in the game. Gaia or Wind+Wave, I think that's a very fair bet. I would think that if they're going to evaluate them on different sizes, one, that's an indicator that they're going to be different sizes in the game, which I'm a big fan of. I think a lot of people really like the alphas and just the different size Pokemon in general. And then the idea that these particular Pokemon are going to show up in the game feels like a solid guess. I don't know why they would use models for stuff they wouldn't put in the game, but you know, that's possible that this is just that guy's favorite stuff and that's what he's messing around with. Worth noting that the Charizard's tail flames glow brightly. We can see the glow effect in the lighting of the tail's surrounding area. This is something that a lot of people have highlighted. We talked about this in a previous video with Lumineon being able to illuminate dark caves underwater. Charizard being able to basically use its tail flame as like a flash. I don't know if we're being too optimistic. This is Pokemon, right? So sometimes we see them, you know, scale back a little bit from time to time, but this could be really, really cool if they do indeed go this route where this immersive lighting exists, where your Pokemon essentially function as like, you know, Flash, like the TM, just because you have an Ampharos walking around, or just because you have a Charizard tail flame lit, it's going to allow you to have enough light to see through a cave. I think that that would be very, very epic. On the next topic, I think this is really important to note. Light reports on Gen 10 acting voice rumor leak. The voice acting rumors come from this audio debug menu. Chara_voice appears to be a dedicated sound bank for human characters, likely covering shouts, reactions, and possibly full character voices separate from Pokemon cries. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. You know, I don't want people getting on this train that we're definitely getting voice acting, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get something. I think that that was one of the biggest pieces missing in, you know, the most recent Legends ZA game. I think a lot of people wanted voice acting. I don't know if they're going to do it. I mean, the reality of it is there's a lot of languages that they produce these games in. I think that they should do it, obviously. It's such a small percentage of their budget, to be honest, to do voice acting. I feel like it wouldn't even be that crazy, but we'll have to wait and see. But maybe they've got some grunts and some humps and some ahs and whatever else, but it seems like some of these data files are actually there, and it's possible that this may come to fruition. And the last thing I want to talk briefly about is Light is covering the fact that it seems as though this region is going to be massive. And obviously we got to take this with a grain of salt too. Things can change in development, but just based on the region size, it looks like it is insanely large compared to Paldea. It looks like, I mean, we're talking about 8 times the size, basically. Southeast Asia is nearly 8 times larger than the Iberian Peninsula. If Game Freak maintains this scale, each major island in the new region will be roughly the same size as the entire map of Paldea. I don't think this is going to happen. I don't think so. I really don't think they're going to make a game that's 8 times the size. At some point, the size doesn't add gameplay value, right? Like, at some point, if you're just wandering around and it's not different, then it's not good. Like, I think of Skyrim as like my favorite game that's kind of like this open world style. And when you adventure Skyrim, there's something new to stumble upon all the time. And I don't know if they're going to be able to capture that in such a big game. I actually would rather them have a normal size map and make sure it's filled with a lot of fun stuff. Because honestly, even the Scarlet and Violet map can feel a lot to adventure sometimes. Whether you're ready or not, the Pokemon 30th anniversary is coming as we tip our way into the new year of 2026, which will be our best year of Pokemon yet. And of course, the best year here on the aDrive channel, as we are back in full force, so strap in for that. Let me know your thoughts on all this breakdown, and make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel as I'll have updates, news, leaks, and more for you guys here over the coming weeks as we head into Pokemon Day 2026. Don't miss out on our incredible end-of-year sale for Elestrals. Like I said, we've got this search for Cryoscorch and Crocodile, these incredible serialized Stellar Rare box toppers, a true treat, a true treasure, have never been found in our game, and otherwise you can grab a starter deck I recommend the Aphrodite starter deck or the Locagon starter deck from our newest set live stream. They're incredible. We've got a great Discord server, and I play in casual events every single week to learn and teach you guys, have fun with the community, and ultimately throw down in the game that I love and that I'm creating. So I hope you guys will join us there. Use my link in the description below, and I want to wish you and your family a happy new year.